Hi guys, Claggers here. Today I want to talk about what I believe Epic Games can implement to make Fortnite more enjoyable. First off, sorry for the bad mic quality. I don't have a proper microphone yet, I'm just using my headset. I love having these sorts of discussions, so feel free to comment on anything you agree with, anything you disagree with, and any of your own ideas. I'd love to see them and I'd make sure to reply to them. Please keep in mind I will be discussing Battle Royale and not Save the World. I will only be discussing gameplay, so nothing about cosmetics. Also, I still really enjoy Fortnite, so what I'll be discussing is by no means hating on Epic Games or how to make the gun quote-unquote fun again. That being said, a lot of people disagree with me and think that Fortnite is no longer fun. Now that's out of the way, let's get on to the video. The first topic I want to discuss is arguably the most controversial thing in the whole of Fortnite, Bloom. Bloom is a mechanic where every shot you fire is shot randomly anywhere inside your gun's cone of fire. Wherever the bullet goes is completely RNG based, meaning you are not awarded for good accuracy, which shouldn't be the case for an esport game. This system was implemented in order to support newer players. Although I really agree with Epic Games trying to support newer players, I do not believe that a completely RNG based system is the way to go. There are many tactics that can be used by Epic Games to support the newer players without decreasing the skill of the better players. For example, Epic Games could re-add minigames back into playground mode and promote them more than they previously did. Minigames are an easy way to teach newer players the fundamental steps of Fortnite, and Playground gave players an opportunity to learn locations and have battles with real people with no consequences. This is a very good system, but I don't believe Epic Games promoted the minigames that much. I believe newer players could have gone for weeks, maybe even months, without realising minigames existed, and by that time they could have already quit the game due to not being able to compete with better players. Another, slightly more controversial topic for supporting newer players is introducing skill-based matchmaking. Skill-based matchmaking is a system in which players are matched up against players similar to their own skill level. In my opinion, skill-based matchmaking should be based on a rank system. Ranks would be determined by your account level, and you would rank up every 50 levels. The reason I believe account level is more of a determinable variable than wins and KD is because both these stats can inaccurately represent your skill level. For example, if you were a bad player but had 3 very good players and you played 100 matches, you may win about 50 of these matches. Now you've got these 50 wins and a 50% win rate, but it doesn't make you a good player. Chances are you didn't even get 10 kills in them 100 matches. My next point is KD. As much as KD represents skill level better than wins do, I still don't think using it for skill-based matchmaking is a good idea. This is for one reason. KD shows your skill averaged out from when you started playing to the current time. Now my overall KD at the time of recording is 0.99, mainly because I was very bad from Season 1 to Season 4. As Fortnite was my first shooter game, I was very new to how it all worked. As much as I don't believe I'm an incredible player, I do believe my KD is a lot lower than it should be. I think a lot of people watching this may relate to me in this situation. People could argue against my point, saying that the matchmaking can be based on KD for this season, or the last 3 seasons, or something like that. However, KD only represents kills. Leveling up represents everything, like where you finished, how many kills you got, and how long you stayed alive for. That's why I believe leveling up is a better representation of your skill. With that out of the way, I'll talk about the positives and negatives of skill-based matchmaking. The positives is that it provides a challenging yet fair experience for all skill levels, meaning pros will have a fun time due to a bigger challenge, and newer players won't get sad from not being able to compete against the better players. It would also greatly decrease the number of stream snipers, and the players big streamers are matched up against tend to not be people who are trying to stream snipe. As good as this sounds, there's also a negative to the argument, which is that fewer players will want to play with their better friends. This is because, assuming matchmaking is based on the highest ranked person in the squad, players would not be able to compete against the better players they are facing. They also would not be able to be carried as well, as their good teammate would still have a big challenge on their hands. This no carrying thing can both be seen as a good thing and a bad thing. Another argument people may make is that skill-based matchmaking decreases the value of wins, and you'd get roughly the same amount of wins no matter what your skill level, and would be based more on the amount of time you've been playing the game. A way of avoiding these problems, which is a bit of a long shot, is by adding a new solos game mode to skill-based matchmaking instead of adding it to all game modes. This mode would not grant wins and would be a skill-based practice mode. This mode would have certain changes that make it different from normal games, like a 50% increased material gain. Epic Games could also use this mode to add new features, like new items, before they are released, which means the players can test the features before they are implemented into the proper game. This game mode would also be a way for the pros to improve, as they are against people similar to their skill level. All these benefits, and it removes the problem of decreasing win value and not wanting to play with friends. That is my idea for methods Epic Games can implement instead of Bloom in order to help the newer players. So you may be asking, what will happen without Bloom? I believe that recoil should replace bloom. Recoil is a system in which bullets always shoot towards the center dot instead of anywhere in the cone of fire, but the screen moves during shots, making it harder to keep the center dot on the opponent. Certain weapons would have less screen movement than others, making it easier to keep the center dot on the target. For example, the suppressed assault rifle would make the screen move a lot less than the heavy assault rifle. Aiming in, crouching and standing still would also decrease the movement of the screen significantly. Keep in mind this would also vastly increase the viability of guns like the suppressed pistol, a weapon that is too rare for early game but not good enough for mid or late game. This system would be completely skill based, meaning accuracy would be rewarded 100% of the time. Epic Games like to add and remove items quite regularly. A lot of these changes are good, but for every good change there is a bad one. I'm going to be talking about items that should return and what items should be removed. Let's start with items that should be re-added. I believe the grey pump shotgun and the purple tactical shotgun should both be unvaulted, as well as the tactical shotgun getting a buff. The buff should be given so that tactical shotguns are equally as viable as pump shotguns. These items should be unvaulted because it would make both shotguns viable in early game, mid game and end game. The grey variants of both shotguns would also be added into chests, so you are more likely to start off with the grey shotguns, and it can be upgraded over time. I believe in this change because currently most people would be carrying a pump shotgun mid game and end game. This change gives a larger variety of weapons to come up against and use, something I strongly believe should happen. I also believe that Shockwave's grenades should be unvaulted. Since they were removed in Season 7, I haven't heard many people talking about their removal, which I find very odd. The reason they were vaulted wasn't quite clear, but I assume it's to do with the buff to balloons. Both items included negating full damage, but balloons were used for movement and shockwaves are used for more aggressive plays. Balloons now cover all three of these things, with a bonus of covering in stacks of 10. This meant balloons were better or equal than shockwaves in every category, apart from aggression. However, I believe the aggression in shockwaves made them both more fun and more viable for fight than balloons. This is why I believe shockwaves should be unvaulted. Please also don't think this means I want balloons to be vaulted. I think they're both viable in their own ways, and I want them both to be in this game. Shockwaves for fights and balloons for movements. Another vaulted item that ties into this category is bouncers. Bouncers was removed at the beginning of Season 6, and the removal has seen a negative response from the Fortnite community, as they negated full damage, were used for movement, and were useful for hitting trick shots. I was also one of those people who disagreed with bouncers being removed. However, I no longer see a need for them to be in the game. This is because of the buff to balloons. Balloons have the exact same uses as bouncers, however, you must have balloons in your inventory slots. I prefer balloons being in the game to bouncers because you could pick up the bouncers without consequences, but now people would have to think, should I take a sniper or give myself the ability not to take full damage, instead of being able to negate full damage wherever you were, without any consequences. One last point is controversial, and it's unvaulting revolvers, and increasing their structure damage by about 65%. This is to give revolvers more viability as an early game hand cannon. Now let's move on to items that should be removed. First of all, I believe the X4 Storming plane should be removed. The plane was a controversial decision when it was added at the beginning of Season 7. The plane offers great mobility, however its offences is negative. The plane has endless bullets but with a small cooldown, similar to the turret. You can also ram into players and their structures with also no consequences. You either kill the player or you don't, but nothing happens to you. The plane can be shot down and deals 50 damage to the driver, however you can easily jump out of the plane before it breaks. Alongside this, I believe there is a bit too much mobility, making rotating way too easy. To fix all of this seems too much of a nerf, and therefore I believe it should be removed. Next on the list is turrets. Turrets are a trap that can be mounted by players with endless ammo of only a small cooldown. Turrets can easily be countered through the use of RPGs, but early game and mid game no one tends to have an RPG. Just like the X4 Storming plane, the turret has few counters, and I therefore believe it should be removed. My final topic is gameplay changes. Fortnite has very different gameplay mechanics to a lot of shooter games, mainly the addition of building. However, I personally believe that the mechanics can be changed to make the game more enjoyable. Please keep in mind I won't be discussing Bloom in this category as I've already talked about it in its own category. First off, I want to discuss changing the way explosives damage works. This is an idea I saw posted on Reddit a few months ago by user KitS6660, explaining how changes to explosive damage must be changed. The idea suggests that explosion damage should be increased by 20% on all weapons, however, the damage decreases the further you are away from the centre of the explosion. This would solve the issue of being a while away from where the RPG hits, but still dying to it. My next proposition is to reward players for kills. During the Scavenger Pop-Up Cup, players are rewarded 50 health for a kill. I think this should be added to regular game modes with a few changes. I believe only 25 health should be gained from kills, and also gain a small number of materials and ammo, setting you up for the next fight without giving you too much. This will be most noticeable early game, where players can get in fights and not have enough resources to take out their next opponent. To build this idea, I believe that finishing knocked opponents should not reward this small bonus. This would prevent unnecessary finishing, as the big problem is that a squad member could get in a fight and be finished even if the person who knocked them is being attacked. If the person who knocked the other needs guns or ammo, then it would be reasonable to finish the knocked enemy, but if they don't need guns or ammo, then they'd leave the knocked enemy be and try to kill their teammate. The only way you to receive the bonus health, ammo and materials are through killing the entire squad or waiting for them to bleed out. If you deal damage to the knocked enemy and then they bleed out, you will not receive any bonuses. Another change is adding coloured crosshairs. Coloured crosshairs make it easier for you to see your opponent during fights, as white crosshairs can easily not be seen during battle. This is discussed a lot in the Fortnite community, and I'm surprised they haven't already been implemented. My final point, be it a very minor one, is buffing the heavy shotguns. Since the addition of purple and golden pump shotguns, heavy shotguns tend to be second choice for the majority of Fortnite players, mainly because heavy shotguns are incapable of one-shotting an opponent, as its max damage is 193. I believe a small buff, for example increasing the range or structure damage, would be beneficial and see more players take the heavy shotgun over the pump shotgun.
And there you have it, my list on what can improve Fortnite. Please no arguing over this in the comments. I'd love to have a proper conversation to you all about this, and I'd love to hear your ideas on what I've said and your own personal ideas. Please don't feel bad by telling me that you think my opinion is wrong. Honestly, it'd help me out if you were honest. Also, if you do like this sort of content, please do tell me, and I look forward to doing more of it. This is Clayers. Peace.